Meet Gurbaaz, a talented young 8-year-old from Toronto whose parents recently sent me a video of him hitting and asked for some help with his game. Gurbaaz, I got a few tips that are going to make your forehand more like Dominic Thiem's. Let's get to work. Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to compare Gurbaaz to Dominic Thiem. Gurbaaz, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm super excited. You're a talented young player, my friend. I'm really excited to see your future. So the first thing, I'm going to really teach you two things, one at the beginning of the swing and one at the end of the swing. I want to show you your turn and specifically the height of your hitting hand. So let's just take your right hand, your hitting hand, and just kind of look where it is in comparison to your body. And then we look at Dominic Thiem and we see where his hitting hand is. And his hitting hand is across his chin, where your hitting hand is kind of at the top of your shorts. When you take your racket back, Gurbaaz, I want your right hand to be the same height as Dominic Thiem. So I would actually want your right hand to come up here. You need a higher backswing, my friend. We want that higher backswing and your hand to be up there so that you can get more racket speed with gravity and be able to swing faster. Right now, by starting so low, it's very tough for you to get a lot of racket speed, and it actually means you're going to struggle with higher balls. So the first thing I want you to do, Gurbaaz, is have your hitting hand as high as your chin. So you'll see all this space under his arm compared to his body. Like with Dominic Thiem, we could put a basketball under his arm easily. I think we would actually struggle to put a golf ball under your armpit because it's so tight up against your body. So when you take your racket back up. Let's look at this from the ready position. You and Dominic Thiem have a similar ready position. Just look at the height of his hand and the height of your hand, right? But watch when Dominic Thiem takes his racket back. Look how he takes his racket back and his hitting hand goes like this. Watch his hitting hand go up. So his hitting hand goes up. Notice when you take your racket back, your hitting hand kind of goes down from this point. So we want to go up when we take the racket back. By taking it back higher, you'll get easy power and easy racket speed, and you'll have an easier time handling higher balls. The second thing, Gurbaaz, and I'm going to go back in front of the camera and just kind of demonstrate this again, is the finish. So I want you to notice where Dominic Thiem's left hand is and where your left hand is. So if I draw a line up his back, we'll notice that his left hand is catching the racket to the left of that yellow line. If I draw a yellow line up your back, you'll notice there's no left hand here, that the left hand is actually in front of your body. What I want you to do, Gurbaaz, is catch the racket up over your shoulder. You'll see Roger Federer do this sometimes. Dominic Thiem does this all the time when he's practicing. Serena Williams does this. I think this is a really big thing for recreational players and young juniors to learn. And this is one of the things that Dominic Thiem does when he's practicing to make sure that he has good form. Rather than letting your left hand stay in front of you, I want you to catch the racket up high over your left shoulder. It'll actually make it easier for your hips to turn, especially as you get bigger and stronger. All right, let me show you this in front of the camera. All right, Gurbaaz, two simple things, one about the turn and one about the finish. Mom and Dad, I've got the Topspin Pro here. This would be an amazing product for Gurbaaz for at-home practice. We can learn these techniques, and it would be a big advantage for him. I am an affiliate. You can use my affiliate link in the description below. I'll even pin it in the first comment. And if you were to use my affiliate link to get a Topspin Pro, it would really help out me and my family, so thank you. So Gurbaaz, when you take your racket back, at the moment, your hand is really low, and there was very little space under your armpit. Remember, Dominic Thiem had all of this space and his hand was much higher. So rather than having your hand low and your arm pinned against your body, have your hand high, a lot of space under your armpit. And you can think of it this way, have your hand, elbow, and shoulder all around the same height. Now your arm's not going to be straight at this point, your arm's going to be bent, and you can see that here. So your arm's going to be bent. You can use your left hand when you take the racket back, which is what you do now, but it's really low. Let's get all of this really high. Again, hand, elbow, and shoulder, all the same height. The reason you want to do that, two main reasons. First is for racket speed. You'll be able to swing faster. Think about, Gurbaaz, when you're riding your bike. You can ride your bike faster downhill than you can uphill. The reason is because of gravity. Gravity is what makes my racket fall when I let go of it. So when you're riding your bike, Downhill, you have what's called gravity-assisted speed or gravity-assisted acceleration. So when you are up here, you can swing faster to get to the ball because you'll go down farther and then it accelerates and then you hit the ball. You're starting at the bottom of the hill in your bike and trying to pedal uphill. So you're down here having to go up with no gravity-assisted racket speed, and it takes more muscle recruitment, to use a word I apologize for. But it means that you have to use more muscle and it's more tense rather than a loose and relaxed swing from starting from a higher point. The second thing, Gurbaaz, that comes from a higher turn is it's easier to handle higher balls. Being around 8 years old, it's going to be common that you play the ball up here. So mom and dad, getting him down here to then up to this ball up here, he's going to have to be moving back a lot, having to stand way behind the baseline, which we don't want. We want him being aggressive, and he's a talented player. We want him turning like the pros so he can handle high balls like the pros. The second thing, Gurbaaz, is your left hand. When you're hitting the ball, your left hand is up against your body. And I watched you a couple times when you were hitting from the front view, and I didn't include this in this video, but you were hitting and sometimes your arms would cross like this, and you'd almost like be giving yourself a hug. What I want you to do is I want you to have your left hand, Gurbaaz, as you're contacting the ball, I want your left hand like it's waving to the opponent, and then catch the racket up high over your shoulder. I don't want you hugging yourself as you hit and then your left hand goes up. I want your left hand going up as you're hitting and then catching. Gurbaaz, here's a really simple drill that you can use in order to practice the movement the left hand should use on your forehand. Take your hands on either side of your racket and just make a move like you're hitting a forehand with your right hand. And you can do this kind of with a Topspin Pro to kind of get a sense of where the ball is. And just swing like this. You'll notice that the racket pushes my left hand up into the air. That's how you're going to catch the racket in your left hand. You watch Serena, you watch Venus. Even a long time ago, Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras, they'd have their hands up here. Victoria Azarenka, a player who does this all the time with her hands up. We want you going up and catching the racket in your left hand. Remember, your left hand was here from the side view. We could see Dominic Thiem's left hand up high catching the throat of the racket when we compared the two of you side by side. Making sure that your left hand goes up as you're hitting the ball and catches makes it very easy for your hips to turn, and your hips turning is vital to hitting a great forehand. So Gurbaaz, two simple ideas. Turn higher with your hand, elbow, and shoulder all at a similar height so you can drop down and get more racket speed and especially handle higher balls. And make sure that you catch the racket high up over your left shoulder the way we saw with Dominic Thiem. Gurbaaz, you work on those two simple ideas and there is no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. Gurbaaz, you got this.